The Kreepton Chronicles by Renee Libra. Chapter 2. The Block World Before Now. Legend says, after the world was formed, Skellies, Stombies, Endermen, witches, and we Kreeptons were spawned into the world. Kreepton lowered his voice and began his story in a serious tone. We were all creatures of intelligence, and humans were unheard of. It was quite intriguing to hear that those mobs could do anything else but destructions, let alone be intelligent. "Did they live in peace?" Augusta asked. "Absolutely not," Kreepton continued. "Each group of creatures claimed the territory, and conflicts were frequent as each wanted domination over the others. Eventually, war broke out. Alliances were formed to gain advantages, but were broken again and again. The Endermen, for example, used the witches to help them create the Ender Dragon, then turned around and hunted the witches with the dragon." "The Endermen were backstabbers," I exclaimed. "Yes, they were," he agreed. "But the witches didn't go down without a fight. Before they were hunted to near extinction, the few remaining witches used their magic to trap the Endermen and the dragon in another dimension known as the End. Only the few who possessed the Ender Pearl could roam free in the overworld." "So that was how they ended up there," Augusta realized. "After countless moon cycles of fighting with weapons, magic, alliance, and betrayal, the Kreeptons emerged victorious and became the rulers of the world," Kreepton declared proudly. "We name our world Talic. Those proven loyal to the Kreeptons were allowed to share Talic with us." "There was peace in Talic then?" I asked. "For a while there was," Kreepton exhaled. His eyes glowed when he tried to remember the happy times he had. "We built an amazing civilization out of sand, the source of our energy." "Sand, like a desert temple?" Augusta wondered. "Desert temples were one of those ancient constructions built by the Kreeptons," confirmed Kreepton. "And I was spawned into existence in one of those temples." It was shortly before the Creeper Wars began. "The Creeper Wars!" we exclaimed at the same time. "Those were the wars that reduced our once great civilization into a desert," Kreepton said dimly. "And I spent a good deal of my life being a part of those wars. Sadly, I don't think the wars would end until all the Talics are either captured or killed." "How awful!" I pictured in my head the heartache our friend had to endure. "What happened?" "Talic was invaded by surprise." Kreepton organized his thoughts and continued. "Kreeptons are great inventors. After studying extensively the elements of the Talic world, our scientists invented gunpowder. It was incredibly useful in our mining expeditions and allowed us to obtain a lot of materials with one explosion. The substance is, nevertheless, very dangerous, so in order to mine deeper and prevent injuries from explosion accidents, we also crafted a vessel that can carry the gunpowder far away from the miners and into tight spaces. Each of these vessels consists of a simple control center head that allowed it to navigate and find its target, a body that carries the gunpowder, and 4 quick-moving short legs." "The creepers!" Light bulbs came on in our heads. "Yes, the creepers," Kreepton said darkly. "However, a useful tool can become a dangerous weapon when it falls into the wrong hands. Invaders who came out of nowhere somehow stole our mining invention and turned it against us." Kreepton stopped and looked down for a few clicks to reflect on the miserable chapter in their history. The air was so tense that we were afraid to speak or even take a breath. When Kreepton lifted his head back up, his dark eyes were full of emotions. He spoke again. "It was the day of my rite of passage celebration. I was acknowledged as a grown and responsible Talic, as well as the heir to my family's legacy. A storm was ravaging that night, but that didn't stop my family from hosting a grand party in my honor at the capital city. Then just as the party came to an end, it happened." Kreepton's voice lowered further. "The silent assassins. Those waves of creepers were sent into every corner of our city in the dark of the night, under the order of the invaders. The creepers ignite themselves throughout our city. The sound of crumbling buildings and desperate cries of citizens erupt in the night. Following the attacks, many were killed or injured. Much of our cities were destroyed. Our world descended into chaos. Those who were able to fight regrouped and built simple forts to defend ourselves. We gathered all the strength we had left and went to war. But the damages done to our civilization were too great, and the time of peace had weakened our warriors. We were quickly overwhelmed by the invaders. Ultimate defeat followed. My whole family perished, along with hundreds of Talix. We lost all our forts, and the last of the survivors scattered far away from our cities. This is horrible. Augusta frowned at the tragic story. But the invaders did not stop there. Kreepton clenched his fist tightly in anger. Their band of highly skilled master hunters were sent to capture any remaining Talix at large. I was leading a small team of Talix in search of survivors when some hunters caught up to us. My group sacrificed themselves to allow my escape. Kreepton went quiet. I'm sorry, Kreepton. I did not know how to comfort our friend. I'll be all right, replied Kreepton with all the calmness he could muster. Please allow me some time to myself. We went to bed quietly that night, leaving Kreepton to his memories of the past.